that there is a part of yourself that might be sabotaging all your best efforts. It's important to pay attention when that little voice subtly comes in and tries to talk you out of going for that walk in the morning, or going to the gym, or doing anything really that you know that you need to do, and yet there is some part of yourself that is very resistant to taking those steps. And sometimes it comes in right before you're about to do the thing, and then it's just a perfect excuse to justify why it didn't happen. Your life is too busy. You have too many other things going on. It all of a sudden becomes demoted, no longer the priority. There's Maisie. Yeah, stay committed. Pay attention to the voice. Sometimes that's all it takes, just to go ahead and just notice it and ignore it, and move on with your said intentions for the betterment of your own wellness and health. Notice where you're throwing up resistance to yourself. And today it was super cold, icy, and snow, rain, very wet, and you can see my breath. It's probably going to start snowing again, and I did not want to go for a walk. I really just kind of walked myself through the motions of getting dressed, getting ready, and kind of being the support system for myself. Nobody else is around. It's going to force me to do it. So there is an aspect to yourself that is supportive to what it is that you want to do, whether it's going for a walk or accomplishing some other task that you're putting up resistance to. But just know that you are going to have to be there for yourself. Give yourself the support and the encouragement, and just listen to the resistant voice that wants to stay home or not do the thing, but then do the steps and just go through the motions of preparing yourself to take those actions and follow through. Getting past the inertia is usually the hardest part, and so if you could just get past that initial stuckness, you'll often find once you're out there doing what it is that you set out to do, it becomes a lot easier to keep up the momentum. The only way out is through, and so overcoming the initial inertia is a lot like crossing a threshold. And now that you have crossed that space, you are entering a new zone where you can actually get some rewards from taking that step. You are becoming more in alignment with your goals and things you have set out to do for yourself, and that feels good. So enjoy your rewards and look forward to crossing those thresholds. And when you resist change, this is the place where a lot of people find that they get stuck. Because what happens is they get the inner guidance, right? They have the vision. They get the inner guidance of what to do next, that next step. And it is requiring something of you. And oftentimes these are things that we are not wanting to do. Just don't want to do it for whatever reason. And there's things that you have to do every day on a daily basis that are required of you. And I would say that this is where you can decide to sort of walk in grace across the threshold of change, or you can always wait to be thrown across, So you decide how you want to look at it, and then evaluate whether it really is such a difficult task to make the necessary changes and do the actionable steps that you have been guided to follow. And you don't necessarily get the whole picture all at once, but you always will get your next step. And if you find that you are unable to break these habits, then they will become destructive and break other parts of your life, your relationships to other people. I think your job, your just all kinds of things could fall apart. Your health even can start dwindling, when you become out of alignment and you ignore these destructive habits. So if you find you just are unable to rectify the situation, just think about how it ultimately leads to more breakdown in other areas. So if you have a say over what's getting broken down and what's being built up, that's a whole lot better than total chaos, right? So it's best, of course, if you can do it yourself. It's okay to have help, support, and guidance when going through these things. Some of them are really, some of the most challenging things. Addictions are just intense, right? So get help if you need it. But the last thing that you want to do is ignore the signal that it's time to make a change. So in the last year, there's been a big shift in the structure of people's relationships within their families, their friends, and workplaces. There's been such a major upheaval in the last 2 years. And you know what I'm talking about. Where it's so sad, really. Like, some people can't even really talk with other people in their family that they used to be able to. And friendships have broken apart and fallen away. And really, people are moving or migrating also. And just, this is a time where you really want to make sure that you tie up your loose ends and not be harboring any of these conflicts and traumas that we've had within our loved ones' space, people we love and care about. And we just have to move on. So you don't want to take all that with you when you start somewhere new and fresh. And it's something that you're gonna want to deal with, because you don't need to carry that forward into your new relationships and places and situations where you're going to be next.